Ugly!
Yes, it's me. This is short notice, but...
I'm in. Let's go.
Done. Let's go.
Sure. You can't get a job. Maybe you just get lost in the woods and die.
When you've only got a bad
we
lot
can
to choose
bless you,
from,
and
it's
it's
better
no
to be
problem
just
anymore,
alone, isn't it?
right?
I mean, my name.
Now you look at how all that robot shit is getting. Soon, you lose an arm, you lose a leg, no problem. Just like getting a better plan.
Reducing crime by reporting people you know or suspect of possessing illegal items.
Listen up, man's got the finest goods in all of London. Come see for yourself. You need something, you want something, man could hook you up. All my stuff is quality. Hey, don't be shy. Come up and let's talk. Hey, I'll cut you a deal. Let's negotiate. Come on. Bro, best of British right here. None of that overseas knockoff shit. Trust me. I'm telling you, come get it now and don't miss out on a good deal. Hey, don't be shy. Come up and let's talk. Hey, I'll cut you a deal. Let's negotiate. Come on. Hey, don't be shy. Come up and here we go.
Hi, Bria. ID check.
Huh? Oh, okay.
No movement during the scan.
Something man can hook you up. All my stuff is quality. Listen up, man's got the finest goods in all of London. Come see for yourself.
Now, switch off.
Hold up. I think I heard something.
You know I can see you. I'm taking the seat over here.
Fucking
Control 4 units, possible hostiles near your location. Received. Mobilizing now. Out.
The enigmatic founder of Broker Tech. Everyone knows her name, but no one knows too much about her. We only really see her these days as a hologram.
No sign of the target.
She was pretty young when she launched Broker Tech, the company that is best known for introducing Bagley to the world. Nowadays, it's hard to remember a world before Bagley.
Bagley is the most advanced, significant AI of our
Search has yielded
time,
no
and
results.
it's really blown
Report back
all
to
the other
HQ.
AIs that were created out of the water. And I think that what Sky Larson's done with Bagley is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I can't really imagine the optic without it. But what do you know about Sky Larson herself?
Not a lot, other than that she's actually pretty incredible. I've followed her work for a long time, and she's always been a pretty private person. I know she's so Sky, but there isn't that much more we know about her other than she's out of the world.
Hey you! Stop! You're gonna die for messing with us. All units. Possible suspect or suspects reported
Coming up
near your
today
location.
on the upload,
Received.
we're talking about
Moving to
Sky
intercept.
Larson, the enigmatic
Control, there's been an accident.
founder of
Over.
Tech. Everyone knows her name, but no one knows too much about her.
Target has
we only
cleared.
really see her
Checkpoint
these days
on
as a
on.
hologram. She was pretty young when she launched Broker Tech, the company that is best known for introducing Bagley to the
Anyone
world.
have visual?
Nowadays,
Anyone?
it's hard to remember a world before Bagley.
Bagley is the most advanced, significant AI of our time, and it's really blown all the other AIs that were created out of the water. And I think that what Sky Larson's done with Bagley is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I can't really imagine the optic
Any other patrols
without
have
it.
eyes on the
But
suspect,
what do you know
over?
about Sky Larson herself?
Not a lot, other than that she's actually pretty incredible.
We are in
I've followed her
pursuit.
work
I
for
say
a long
again,
time, and
in
she's always been
pursuit.
a pretty private person. I know that she supposedly grew up in the
Negative. No
countryside,
sign of the target
but there isn't actually that much more we know about her other than this tech that she's put out into the world.
I've always found it a bit creepy that she's
Control,
so
we're
obsessed with this
returning to
idea of
HQ, over.
transhumanism.
Why wouldn't you be? When you've got a mind as amazing as Sky's, why wouldn't you want to take what you've got and actually... augment it by working with technology, by improving your physical self, changing your body and the world around you, implementing more technology to extend your life and really sort of extend human capabilities.
You sound pretty much in love with Sky Larson, I have to say.
I can't comment on that, but I am a big fan of her work. She's been one of these people that has transformed the world around us, and just watching how her mind works from afar is pretty incredible, because some of what the technology she's introduced has changed how we all live our lives, and Bagley has been this really incredible assistance to humanity as a whole. Did I ever tell you that I actually interviewed Sky Larson once?
Really? I thought she never spoke to the media or anything.
So this was a long time ago, back in the day when she was a little bit more accessible, and she was one of these people that just had an amazing presence. You were inspired by her very being, and she was just incredibly talented and knowledgeable, and one of possibly the best living people that I've ever met.
I'm not sure you're being too objective there.
Training, mate. No time to talk. What's your problem? Back off. Keep out of this.
What's his deal, Bags?
Looks like he's a marked man. Clan Kelly put a bounty on his head.
Why?
He's an underground bare-knuckle boxer, and he's more dangerous and bloodthirsty than a mosquito with malaria. He managed to take down a mob-backed favourite in his last match. Now they're sending out an enforcer to make sure he...
What is going on? Shit, I gotta get out of here. Oh yeah?
Forget about its origins. It's so present everywhere we go now. Bagley blends into the background.
Bagley is the service AI that's present in every Optic device. Whether you're using the Optic, Bagley will be there. The AI is streamed to your Optic from Bloom's Central Command Center, and it was first created by Sky Larson, our tech hero, as part of her techno-utopian idea for the world. Why do you think it grew so quickly?
In my mind, it's no surprise that Bagley became so popular. It's funny, useful, fast. It's a great companion and really just makes life so much easier. I mean, when you look back at all the service AIs that used to exist, they just can't compete. When you ask Bagley anything, there's a quick answer and loads of information available to you. One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours and no one even noticed the difference.
The other competitors really just couldn't compete with Bagley. Their answers were so much worse, they didn't understand anything, and Bagley pretty much gets everything right first time. Do you have any idea why Bagley really beat all the competition?
Well, it's really the data, isn't it? Ever since Broker hooked up with Bloom, that's when things changed.
And really, that's not actually that great. Bloom has data on everybody. They collect information about everything you're doing across the web through your Optic headset. Isn't the AI only good because of Bloom surveillance?
Well, I suppose so, but I prefer not to talk about that side of things. Bagley is so special because it's been trained on this huge cache of information. That's how these AI systems work, or at least used to work. I mean, we don't really know that much about the latest version because there's so much secrecy around the tech. But they're given this huge amount of training data. It's basically a huge database that's used to teach the AI about patterns in behavior. You know, so if you always travel the same way to your house, it can predict when you're going to go and get a self-driving car ready for you before you even ask for it.
That's pretty terrifying. In some ways, I don't want this data to drive my life. It understands too much at times. Have you heard some of the rumours around the hacked version of Bagley?
I've heard mutterings, yes.
I've heard it's been used by DedSec.
I wouldn't put it past them. It's pretty well known that they're not fans of Bloom. But the idea of a souped-up version of Bagley, given it's already so intelligent, is a bit terrifying.
I wonder what they could actually make it do.
Mates party, time to play that audition track, or just listening on the move. We don't want you to drop a beat. We want you to drop the mic. Wi-Fi on the fly.
The enforcer we're after is here, currently assaulting some other poor cunt that pissed off the Kellys. If you take them out, our boxer friend may live to... fight another day.
You're listening to me, Tash, and Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer.
Cool. Not me at all.
Watch yourself.
That's great. Absolutely. If you can,
Hold up,
you want to fight right now? Come then. Lay off, man. This shit is not right, bro.
Target spotted.
please.
There, that takes care of the immediate mortal peril. Now Scarper or they'll kill you for sure.
By the GBB. This area is being recorded by the...
Global breakthrough.
Right. Your teammate won't be completing their operation so much as they'll be needing one.
I wish them a speedy recovery and loads of free morphine. Now, what are we doing? Brilliant bunch of wankers, aren't we?
Don't break out the tiny party hats just yet. We might have bought our boxer some time, but once Clan Kelly finds out what happened, they'll almost certainly want revenge. Suggest you warn him.
Heading there now.
Seems your mate took quite a bashing and has wound up in hospital. They won't be available for some time. If you're feeling clever, you might consider recruiting a paramedic to the team. It's a brilliant way to shorten that hospital stay and get your teammate back online.
Well, I've survived a lot worse than this.
GBB. First on the scene, first to bring you the news.
Oh, fucking hell, did I just wet myself? Shite. Fucking shite. Whoa!
You might want to hurry. I'm detecting some Clan Kelly movement in the area.
Stay still. Search. Get moving. You can't be here. Don't make me tell you again. Get going.
Oh, shit! Suspect reported in your area, potentially armed and hostile.
I'm in pursuit of the target.
Activity will result in arrest.
That's... You're not listening to me. I won't hesitate to shoot you.
Negative. No vision of the suspect.
the search.
Again,
Fall back.
got in a situation
Over.
where nobody really believed anything. And the trouble is if you were telling the truth, it's very hard to get your message to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you know, you remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by force, they would take any infants and they would crucify them. And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. How do you counter that story? With the truth. The only way you can counter it is by saying it's negative.
Thanks. Code blue here. Blues and lights.
You want me to break you?
Hey, there's no time to explain, but you're in serious danger.
What do you mean?
Clan Kelly's got their knickers in a twist over your last match. They want you dead. We took care of their first murderous thug, but it seems they're sending in more clowns.
Oh, they want to fight? I'll give them a fight.
Appreciate the offer, but there's too many for you to take all on your own. Best find somewhere to hide. We'll keep them busy as long as we can.
Right. Whoever you are, thank you. I'll owe you for this.
Enemies incoming.
So whilst there was the digital afforded more fake information, it also makes us suspicious and sceptical of information and makes us question the information we're getting. And I think in pre-crisis Britain, it might not have seemed so at the time, but there was something positive.
That does it. Get somewhere safe so we can contact our fighter.
Whereas now, I think you're seeing a return to a more traditional and older, pre-digital sense, actually, of people just trusting what they're told, and that's why we have to be here with radio stations like this to challenge those conceptions. Most citizens feel pretty hopeless, I think, and unable to fight back against these kind of huge mainstream corporations that simply...
Are you all right?
I'm pissed off. Fucking Kellys think they own this city. Throwing their weight around and all. I'd like to teach them a lesson.
In DedSec, the more the merrier. Care to join us?
You kidding? Hell yeah.
And it's never possible, really, to completely shut down, despite all the technologies that they have at their disposal and all the financial and corporate power and all the physical power. It's never quite possible to shut down the desire to get to the truth and fight for their own ideologies and values. And, you know, we're out here starting that task, so I hope.
You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. We'll be back. Soon with more of what you'll never hear on the GBP. Keep listening, keep sharing, keep resisting.
We live in modern times. Drones, robots, computer control, they all have their place. But so do people. And that place is us. Because when you need help, you need the human touch. Not robots, not... Just people like you. The Metropolitan Police. People protecting people.
Is it bug time? Are you sitting comfortably? No? Good. That's as it should be. This is the bug. I'm Andy and joining me to analyse the latest.
Begin hostiles direction.
It's Alice.
Hello, Andy.
And today, we're going to talk to you about Albion, your friends of mine. Alice, the government has extended Albion's contract.
Negative.
And
No sign of suspect.
violent crime
Over.
has plummeted to a record low. Now, extending Albion's contract, to me, as I'm having a pet dog, let's call it Nigel for the sake of it, that attacks you every single day, and thinking to yourself, wouldn't it be nice if Nigel had puppies?
That contract has been extended so many times, it's like the neck of a politician that's criticised the government.
I'm not sure entirely how those contract extension negotiations went, probably like a footballer. In the old days, I assume Albion's agent was leaking stories to the press about how our favourite private militia was being tapped up by Barcelona. The government panicked. Things. What have we become? And it's really the state of our politics. We're supposed to have the mother of parliaments. Well, this is one mother that has emphatically abandoned her kids in the woods to be brought up by wolves. And let me tell you, that never works out like it does in the story. Wolves are bad parents, unless you're a wolf, in which case they can do a job bringing you up as a wolf. Do not give your children to wolves. I do actually own anything that comes now, anything that logs off the pocket. I think it's basically just a car. I hope you're happy. So at least this
Be careful! It seems to me you're ready to fight the powers that be. Wait, are you with DedSec? I just so happen to need some help. I'll have a look at our schedule. What's wrong? A dear, dear friend of mine has gone missing. I've done everything I can to find them, but to no avail. That's horrid. My friend was always a rebellious sort. It's not hard.
Oh, watch where you're going, yeah?
The demands of being a DedSec operative are all-consuming, so taking app gigs is a good way to make some extra quid that works around your new schedule. Lots of...
Anyone can be disappeared in London these days. Where shall we start?
Live show that is so secret it is definitely not happening at the usual time and place this month. Definitely not. And definitely do not tell anyone do not tell anyone not to come to. It's definitely not. Usual time and place. Bye-bye.
I say, someone who fancies themselves a getaway driver must have a nice car.
From what I've heard, a nice car can compensate for a lot of things.
Today we're short of basic foodstuffs and vital medical supplies. Hundreds have already died of conditions that can be easily cured. The black market means that criminal gangs like Clan Kelly run our cities. And Prime Minister Dev Hassani isn't even around to pretend to care. How do we go from a consumer paradise to a place of empty shelves and fighting for supplies? What turns a land of plenty into a wild west of hoarding, food banks and black market barons? We protect everyone who comes on the podcast by keeping their identities. Here's veteran political reporter Ian on the power behind shortages.
What was the first thing happening?
All units. I repeat, all units. We have reports of a hostile in your area. Over.
Received. Let's keep this by the book. Over. Everyone's quality of life got instantly worse, but we could live without it. The most damaging part was when the radioactive isotopes stopped coming in. Now, radioactive isotopes, that's what we use for cancer screening, cancer treatment.
Can anyone see the suspect?
It has a short half-life. Technique used to save hundreds of thousands of lives just by screening for cancer, let alone testing for cancer. But that stuff has a half-life of 66 hours. As soon as those
all units disengage. Suspect has disappeared.
And that is when people started dying. And then the medicines. The thing is, there's loads of medicines that just can't stockpile. There was a moment before it took place when actually there were some efforts to try and stockpile some of the medicines. There was some things that could be done. For a lot of it, there was nothing that could be done. We had a major problem with drugs for schizophrenia. So we saw such an uptick in the kind of attacks on the street, and people suffering on their own because they didn't have the mental health drugs, because those drugs simply couldn't be stockpiled. We eventually found the same thing with foods that weren't produced in the UK. And the trouble with the UK was, we don't produce our own food. We never had. For hundreds of years, we produced under half of our own food. So as soon as those wars went up, we started having significant material problems in the country. In Britain always told itself it had this national myth, right, that because it got through the war, that it could go through any kind of hardship. I mean, that wasn't really the case. People chose war far more frighteningly than some of this historical stuff makes out. Now, what did you see? People don't want to do that stuff. They were desperate for the things that they had before, and they were scared. So they went to the black market. The same thing that always happens. And where did the broken pan come from? It came from people wanting things that
Our missing person disappeared from here. It was probably captured on CCTV, like every other bloody thing in this city.
Right then. Time to get that data.